A clear polish keeps your nails sparkling. Once a week, Sue gives herself a complete manicure. Then daily care of her nails is easy.
Have you ever stood in front of your overflowing skincare shelf packed with tiny bottles, serums promising miracles, and futuristic tools and thought, how did we even get here? Not so long ago, skincare meant a single jar of creamy, calming cold cream. There were no intricate steps, no overwhelming ingredient lists, just one comforting swipe, and you were good to go. But now, our routines have ballooned into elaborate rituals filled with promises of flawless, filtered skin that somehow never feels enough. And today we're taking a nostalgic journey through the evolution of skincare, from simple elegance to today's pressure-packed pursuit of perfection. We'll explore how beauty standards evolved, why minimal routines gave way to endless steps, and how the gentle self-care of yesterday has transformed into the anxiety-driven critique of today. So whether you're loyal to vintage cold creams or a serum enthusiast chasing the latest hype, let's pause, reflect, and discover how skincare shifted from a peaceful ritual to a relentless chase, and whether we might just find a better way forward. Chapter 1: A single jar in the 1920s, cold cream and calm. Imagine the blissful simplicity of reaching for one product to cleanse, moisturize, and remove your makeup all at once. Today, that idea almost feels like a fantasy, lost in a sea of toners, serums, oils, acids, retinoids, and sunscreens. Yet not so long ago, skincare routines were exactly that, uncomplicated. From the 1920s to the 50s, most women relied on a single product, the humble, elegant jar of cold cream. A creamy emulsion of mineral oil, water, beeswax, and a fragrance, sometimes with a touch of rose water. Cold cream did it all. It removed makeup, cleansed the skin, and left a dewy, moisturized finish. No double cleansing, no actives, no algorithm-approved skincare lineups. Just one jar and a few peaceful minutes at your vanity. Cold cream wasn't just a product, it was a cultural institution. Household names like Pond's, Noxzema, and Elizabeth Arden shaped not just beauty cabinets, but the visual language of American femininity. These brands emphasized consistency over change, serenity over transformation. Vintage ads exuded calm and confidence, women smiling gently, not seductively, seated at vanities in soft nightgowns, gently massaging their faces. For skin you'll be proud of, read one Pond's cold cream ad, promising not perfection but pride. The message was clear: skincare wasn't something you did to fix yourself, it was something you did to care for yourself. Hollywood naturally played a powerful role in establishing cold cream's iconic status. Stars like Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, Joan Crawford, and Marilyn Monroe were often asked about their beauty routines, and many mentioned cold cream as their secret weapon. Marilyn, for example, was known to use Pond's cold cream religiously. She reportedly applied it both morning and night, favoring its rich, moisturizing texture over more drying cleansers. Hepburn was said to favor Retinol creams, which were richer and more medicinal than cosmetic. Well, Joan Crawford reportedly cleansed her face with cold cream and then rinsed it 15 times with warm water, claiming that the vigorous cleansing was her trick to youthful skin. And she also plunged her face in ice, and Marilyn Monroe also loved Lazo as well. But Pond's was like common in most old Hollywood celebrities. Their beauty wasn't built on 10-step routines or chemical peels, it was built on consistency, simple routines, and a belief that skincare was about health and softness, not flawlessness. These women glowed not because they followed intricate routines, but because they committed to habits that were gentle, familiar, and grounded. In fact, part of their appeal lay in their relatability, the idea that with the right night cream and a little care, any woman could emulate their elegance. This stood in stark contrast to today's celebrity skincare lines, which often offer inaccessible routines at high price points or rely on dermatological treatments that are out of reach for most people. Contextually, the cultural and economic backdrop of the 30s and 40s deeply influenced beauty routines. During the Great Depression and World War II, frugality was a necessity. Luxury products were scarce, and women became masters of doing more with less. Cold creams became the staple, an affordable, practical solution that served multiple purposes. Even in Hollywood, actresses leaned into multi-purpose products, not just for the glamour, but because it was what was familiar and available. Post-war America, with its boom in consumerism, brought more choices, but cold cream never left. It remained the foundation. The beauty legacy passed from mother to daughter. There was also an emotional dimension to the cold cream ritual that often gets overlooked. The routine wasn't hurried. It wasn't broadcast on Instagram Live. It wasn't designed for aesthetic approval. It was a private, intimate moment of care. The cooling sensation of the cream, the rich texture, the unhurried circular motions of application. It all invited a form of mindfulness decades before the wellness industry commodified the concept. Cold cream routines gave women a few quiet minutes at the end of their day to be alone, to nurture themselves, to reflect. It wasn't about performing beauty, it was about experiencing it. Contrast with today's skincare culture, where the bathroom has become a content studio and the routine a checklist for public validation. The pressure to follow trends, buy what influencers recommend, and constantly update your skincare stack can turn what should be a soothing ritual into overwhelming and anxiety-inducing process. The modern skincare market teaches us to treat our skin as a problem to solve. Cold cream taught us to treat it as something to care for. Of course, this isn't to say that the cold cream era was perfect or free from problems. For all its elegance and simplicity, it was also a time when mainstream skincare excluded women of color, largely ignored acne and other skin conditions, and promoted narrow beauty ideals centered around whiteness, youth, and femininity. Skincare was often framed as a woman's duty to stay desirable, to maintain her husband's interests, to look put together. It's crucial to acknowledge that many of the routines we now romanticize came with their own set of social pressures. So there's something undeniably comforting about the idea of a routine that doesn't require a spreadsheet. In our current age of product overload and perfectionism, the cold cream era offers an important lesson. More isn't always better. Sometimes one jar is enough to feel clean, enough to feel cared for, and enough to feel beautiful. So let's return to that question. If your skincare routine had to fit inside one jar, what would it be? Could you strip back your ritual, not to lose but to gain peace, time, and a deeper connection to yourself? The women of the past weren't perfect, but they understood something we often forget. Beauty doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just you, your skin, and a little cream. Let's take a cue from the Greys, not by replicating for their exact steps, but by rediscovering the power of simplicity, stillness, and self-care without performance. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of products back then too, so people just didn't have that much choice. Chapter 2, The Rise of Science, Serums, and Specialization. As the simplicity of cold cream slowly faded into the rearview mirror, skincare entered an entirely new era. One where science and specialization took center stage. In the 1990s and early 2000s, skincare products rapidly transformed, driven by cutting-edge research and a growing fascination with dermatologically inspired ingredients. Suddenly, skincare was no longer about mere moisturizing. It was about actively correcting and perfecting. Enter serums, the tiny glass bottles promising miracle solutions for hyper-specific issues like wrinkles, dark spots, enlarged pores, and acne. Ingredients such as vitamin C, retinol, glycolic acid, and niacinamide became household staples, offering solutions previously only available through dermatologist prescriptions. This transformation wasn't accidental. As skincare transformed from simple creams to sophisticated formulas, it also became increasingly influenced by medical aesthetics and dermatological science. The market exploded with over-the-counter products boasting clinical-level effectiveness. Brands began highlighting their products' scientific credentials, touting phrases like dermatologist approved or clinically proven. Suddenly, consumers didn't have routines, they had carefully curated treatment plans. Sheet masks, exfoliating toners, chemical peels, and potent overnight serums became standard beauty fare, marketed as not just luxuries but as necessities for maintaining youthful, flawless skin. Pop culture accelerated the skincare revolution significantly. Magazines and daytime TV shows of the 90s and early 2000s bombarded viewers with segments like The 5 Signs of Aging You Need to Address Today, or Products to Keep Your Skin Looking Younger Longer. Celebrities, especially those known for their seemingly ageless appearances, like Jennifer Aniston and Cindy Crawford, played pivotal roles in popularizing these new beauty standards. Aniston famously credited her timeless glow to scientifically formulated skincare products, making targeted skincare feel essential rather than optional. These celebrities' endorsements painted skincare as a sort of preventative medicine, essential for staying competitive in a society increasingly obsessed with youth. Then came social media, and skincare was thrust further into the spotlight. The 2010s saw the rise of influencers, beauty YouTubers, and Instagram gurus who quickly redefined beauty routines into intricate rituals. Multi-step Korean skincare routines took the internet by storm, shifting what was once a quick, straightforward activity into an elaborate self-care event, often involving up to 10 meticulously ordered steps, tutorials about the correct order of application, serums first, creams second, oils last became viral hits. Influencers carefully explained each step, touting the importance of consistency and precision for flawless, filtered, ready skin. As skincare routines grew increasingly elaborate, so did the expectations placed among women. Instagram's beauty culture fostered a visual obsession with poreless, hyper-radiant skin, one that was virtually impossible to achieve without considerable investment, both financially and emotionally. The pressure of maintaining the clean girl aesthetic intensified, pushing many into a perpetual cycle of skincare trial and error. Before and after comparisons became a norm, with followers eagerly tracking influencer skincare journeys, desperate for similar transformations. This new wave of skincare, though empowering for many, also fueled anxieties about self-image and intensifies feelings of inadequacy, especially when products inevitably fell short of their bold promises. Yet despite the potential pitfalls, there's no denying the genuine excitement and benefits brought by this new wave of scientific skincare. Ingredients previously inaccessible or unknown to the average consumer suddenly became available in neatly packaged bottles. People with acne found relief, and formulations that genuinely transform their skin. I mean, I am grateful for a lot of those reasons for the modern day formulations, and those concerned about premature aging discovered products that visibly improved texture and tone. Science-driven skincare undoubtedly empowered consumers, giving them tools and knowledge to address their skin concerns effectively. This era raised a compelling question about balance, though. Has skincare become too forced or on correction rather than comfort? While the rise of the specialized serums and targeted treatments opened the doors to personalized skincare, it also introduced complexity and anxiety into routines previously defined by calm and simplicity. Reflecting on your own routine, think about this. Which serum is your ride or die? Do you still swear by a classic, comforting cold creams, or have actives fully taken over your shelves? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always curious to see what people use and what their favorite products are. Are they vintage ones, or are you using a combination of modern and vintage? Chapter 3, Perfectionism and Anxiety, when self-care becomes a checklist. Skincare, once a soothing ritual designed to provide a quiet moment of comfort and self-care, has in recent years taken a sharp turn into something quite different. A relentless pursuit of perfection. Modern beauty culture, fueled by the never-ending scroll of social media, has reshaped our skincare routines into exhaustive checklists that often feel more stressful than restorative. Gone are the days of simply cleansing, moisturizing, and moving on. Now achieving good skin has evolved into achieving perfect skin, while each step promising a closer approximation of that coveted filter-perfect glow. Today's beauty standards don't just prize healthy skin. They demand flawless, poreless, effortless, radiant faces. The paradox is striking. Achieving the effortless look demands meticulous effort, multiple layers of products, and often hours spent curating routines. The glowy skin trend popularized by platforms like Instagram and TikTok implies that luminous, poreless complexions aren't desirable but necessary, subtly equating visible flaws with personal inadequacy. The ideal complexion, described as glass skin or filtered in real life, sets an impossibly high bar that can leave individuals feeling perpetually inadequate, chasing after an elusive ideal. Historically, beauty enhancements were used more subtly as signals or enhancements rather than mandates for conformity. Lengthening lashes in the 50s or using vibrators for youthful skin was considered innovative steps, not compulsionary standards. These tools and rituals served as playful additions to personal grooming rather than necessary paths to self-worth. Today's insistence on perfection in skincare, however, is new in intensity and scope. It seeks not merely improvement, but total erasure of visible flaws, textures, pores, freckles, and lines, in pursuit of an impossibly uniform ideal. This phenomenon might be described as a cultural pasteurization of the face, removing all distinct features to achieve blank slate perfection. Media and pop culture have significantly amplified this pressure, influencing our perception of attainable beauty standards. And it is weird to think about young tweens going to Sephora now and loading up on all these actives and skincare products. When I was a kid, I actually don't even know what I used as a moisturizer in high school. Television series such as HBO's Euphoria, acclaimed for its elaborate makeup and striking aesthetics, present teens with remarkably flawless skin that appears impossibly perfect even amidst dramatic storylines. The characters depicted as troubled, messy, and realistic in their emotional journeys still somehow maintain impeccable, poreless faces, digitally airbrushed to perfection. Freckles and natural textures are often edited away, unintentionally reinforcing the idea that beauty means flawlessness, even when the narrative itself elaborates raw authenticity. Social media platforms intensify these unrealistic expectations, further pushing beauty standards into real time. Influencers and streamers regularly broadcast skincare transformations, where viewers tune in for live dramatic before and after results. These streams set the expectation that flawless skin isn't just achievable, but necessary and fast. Followers see immediate transformations unfold and internalize the urgency and necessity of constant improvement. The pressures to replicate these dramatic results at home creates a cycle of anxiety and dissatisfaction, transforming skincare from a comforting ritual into a pressure-filled chore. This cultural shift becomes strikingly evident when we consider the stark contrast between past and present beauty routines. Imagine for a moment testimonials from women in the 50s compared to those from today. A woman from the past might laugh gently, recalling, "Back then, skincare meant stealing a dab of mom's cold cream, smoothing it over my face, and calling it a night." Meanwhile, a modern counterpart might confess anxiously, "I panic if I skip a single step. If I forget a serum or an SPF, it feels like my skin, even my entire day, are ruined." These contrasting voices highlight a profound cultural shift, from ease and simplicity to an anxious pursuit of perfection. Instead, the rise of perfectionism in skincare parallels a broader societal trends towards extreme standards. Self-care, initially a radical act of self-love and acceptance, has increasingly become a tool for self-criticism, fueled by the endless comparison trap facilitated by social media. All of these platforms like Instagram and TikTok, while valuable for sharing knowledge, simultaneously amplify anxiety by encouraging constant comparisons. Beauty and skincare content that once felt empowering now often leaves viewers feeling pressured, guilty, and inadequate if they don't adhere strictly to elaborate routines or achieve immediate visible results. Yet it's essential to remember, skincare perfection is largely an illusion. Filters, careful lighting, strategic editing, and sometimes professional dermatological interventions shape what appears effortless online. Behind every perfect selfie or TikTok tutorial lies hours of careful preparation, editing, and often concealed anxiety. The truth is that no product or routine guarantees flawless skin, nor it should. Skin is living, breathing, and changing. It's not meant to exist in a perfect state at all times. Reflecting on our skincare practices, we might ask ourselves when exactly the shift occurred, when self-care quietly evolved into self-criticism. Was it the rise of Instagram and influencer culture? Was it the popularity of multi-step routines borrowed from K-beauty? Or was it simply the incremental, relentless pressure of media to always strive for more glow, and more clarity, and more perfection? Let's pause here and genuinely reflect. When did your skincare routine shift from an act of love and relaxation to a checklist filled with anxiety and self-critique? How often do you feel genuinely empowered versus anxious by your routine? Let me know in the comments below. I always do love that feeling and that idea of thinking that the next serum will change my skin, but I don't know. It seems like an endless battle of chasing something that probably doesn't exist. Chapter 4. Balancing simplicity and modern innovation. While the pressure and complexity of modern skincare might feel overwhelming, the truth is we don't have to fully reject innovation to reclaim simplicity. Instead, there's a middle ground, a philosophy I like to call retro minimalism. Retro minimalism is about revisiting the calming simplicity of vintage skincare and thoughtfully blending it with the best of modern science. Imagine this, a nourishing cold cream as a comforting base of your routine, one targeted serum or active product to address specific concerns, and a reliable SPF to protect you from UV rays. This pared-down approach offers the best of both worlds, bridging nostalgia and modern effectiveness. Today we're seeing brands respond to this very craving for simplicity combined with performance. Innovative hybrid products now flood the market, merging multiple skincare steps into one streamlined experience. Think cleanser serum hybrids that cleanse while nourishing your skin, or SPF-infused niacinamide creams that simultaneously protect from the sun damage and soothe irritation. These multifunctional formulations reduce the clutter on your shelf and streamline your routine, echoing the elegance and ease of vintage cold cream routines while leveraging advanced skincare technologies. I mean, there is like the Olay Super Serum, which in a way combines like whole bunch of serums in one, and there probably are other serums like that. And historically, this balanced perspective on skincare echoes the feminist beauty discourse of the 70s, when skincare began to symbolize empowerment rather than a superficial vanity. Back then, routines were simplified as part of a woman's liberation movements, a way of reclaiming time and rejecting beauty standards imposed on society. Fast forward to recent years, particularly the 2020 lockdown period, and we saw a resurgence of the same independent, simplified spirit. Homemade DIY face masks became a popular trend. Now, not only because salons were closed, but because we rediscovered joy in uncomplicated, accessible beauty rituals using pantry ingredients like honey and oatmeal and yogurt. This parallel underscores a timeless truth. Skincare doesn't need to be complex or costly to feel meaningful or effective. In fact, the shift towards minimalist skincare, dubbed skin minimalism, has become a prominent beauty trend today, advocated by wellness influencers, beauty podcasts, and countless skincare enthusiasts. Skin minimalism emphasizes fewer products, shorter routines, and gentler approaches, promoting acceptance of natural skin texture, imperfections, and all. Influencers now frequently encourage their followers to embrace 40-second nighttime routines. That seems insane, highlighting the liberating simplicity of brief yet effective skincare. DIY skincare recipes inspired by vintage simplicity have also re-emerged as viral sensations, reminding people that effective skincare can indeed be crafted from a minimal, carefully curated set of ingredients. This minimalist approach provides more than practical relief. It redefines our relationship with skincare altogether. By simplifying our routines, we subtly shift the narrative from perfectionism back toward authentic self-care. After all, skincare should ideally provide comfort, empowerment, and genuine wellness, not anxiety or endless critique. The minimalist movement offers us permission to step away from elaborate multi-step rituals, finding freedom in choosing only what truly serves our skin and our peace of mind. Visually, the shift can be strikingly illustrated. Picture a vintage vanity from the 50s, with its elegant simplicity, perhaps just one jar of cold cream, a gentle toner, and a fluffy powder puff. Now contrast that with today's overstuffed bathroom shelves lined with dozens of meticulously labeled bottles, each promising miraculous results. Side by side, the difference becomes stark. One is a serene ritual of care, while the other feels more like a stressful checklist. Overlaying these visuals, consider key phrases: ritual versus routine, self-care versus self-critique, simplicity versus complexity. The message is clear: skincare should enhance our lives rather than complicate them. Adopting retro minimalism or skin minimalism doesn't mean dismissing modern skincare advancements. Instead, it means curating thoughtfully, choosing quality over quantity, often rediscovering the fundamental truth of skincare as a practice rooted in self-love and self-acceptance. When we consciously integrate modern innovation with vintage calmness, we rediscover skincare's core purpose, nurturing our well-being rather than chasing after unattainable ideals. So here's an interesting thought to help guide you. Imagine you're stranded on a beautiful island paradise. You can only have 2 skincare items with you: a classic jar cold cream and a tinted SPF. What would your minimalist skincare routine look like? How would your skin feel with just 2 trusted staples? And I mean, it would be interesting to try that for like a week and just completely detoxing your skin and not using anything, and just kind of see if your skin, it's like microbe, almost rebalances itself. So we've taken quite a journey through the decades of skincare rituals, from the soft serenity of a single jar of cold cream to the hyper-customized world of serums and actives and algorithm-driven perfection. Each era reflected not only changing standards of beauty, but also shifting relationships with ourselves. Skincare started as a simple act of comfort, a quiet ritual of care done at a vanity with no audience. No pressure, it evolved into a complex, sometimes stressful pursuit of flawlessness. One that asks more about our time, our money, and our mental health than we often realize. But maybe the real glow we're seeking doesn't come from an expensive serum or the latest TikTok trend. Maybe it comes from balance, a hybrid approach of drawing on the vintage charm of cold cream and the empowerment of modern science. Imagine a skincare routine that soothes instead of stresses, that honors the heritage of rituals passed down through generations while embracing innovation on your own terms. Because at the end of the day, skincare should feel like self-love, not self-critique. It should ground you, not overwhelm you. Whether you're a minimalist who swears by your grandmother's pawns or a beauty enthusiast who has shelves of actives, the most important ingredient is intention. So let me know in the comments below, like, what's your skincare story? What do you use? Do you have memories of like vintage skincare that like your mom or grandma used? I'm always curious. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, Cookie Jam, for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to use the link in my description box and pinned comment.